The camera's blocking your hand. I wasn't sure. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. You can't hear me. Can they hear me? Check, check. 1, 2. Start from the top. In 5, 4, 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today, we're painting up some ATSTs for the upcoming, in celebration of the upcoming, what are they called, Tony? Battle Forces? I'm getting a sort of confirmation. We started these earlier, and I decided today, it would be a good day to continue on them. We've done some airbrushing. We've done a little work here and there. So today we're just going to keep working on them. So let's kick it to the mini cam and get going. Yeah, ATSTs, woot woot. Release the budgie's nose. I got a bunch of different paints out here. Turn on this light. And I'm going to just get some white and grays, and I'm going to start just kind of dry brush the heck out of these ATSTs. I got a little bit of a gradient here. I'm not going for like a full high contrast to dark contrast on every single panel. I just want to create like a overall feel and emotion to the minis. An update? The update is they are, and they're being worked on, release. That's the update. It's the same update as before. Everything is being worked on. There's a lot of steps, a lot of ins and outs to all the processes and stuff like that, but all that stuff is being worked on. If I wanted to make a lava effect on the base, how would I do that? I would sculpt lava ravines, like little channels, and then I'd paint some off-white, and then I'd paint some yellow, and then I'd glaze with some orange, and then I'd glaze with some reds, and then I would probably hit it again with a little bright yellow. If I want lava bases, you definitely need, that is not dry enough. I got a big old makeup brush here. I want to get that real dry. Got a nice big foofy brush. Sort of a little more white. We need a paint mixer, Tony. Can you put a paint mixer on the order? There's always that conversation, pots or bottles. This is one of the cons to bottles. It's terribly hard to get the paint mixed up. And they dry up. Interns. Give me some interns. Please. So much paint drying today. There we go. Now, the less paint on your brush, on your dry brush, the better. This should just barely be readable when you're painting with a dry brush. It should take multiple thin dry brushes to get the right effect. I'm going a little heavy. And then starts picking out all those edges. I need some cardboard. Tony, do you got any cardboard?
How big?
I don't know, like a 6" by 6" piece of cardboard. I need just something bigger to wipe this brush off of. Yeah, I might switch to a smaller brush. I grabbed this big brush because I like the bristles, but I think it's a little too... But I'm all about big brushes doing work. I don't use little brushes. Yeah! I didn't use a gray primer. I used a black primer and then used white paint added to black primer to build up a gray. And I mixed in some like nice other gray colors. So like rainy gray has like a purpley brownness to it. So that gives you that kind of concretey imperial feel. So mixing that in here and there. But this is like a bunch of different paints. When you're painting big stuff or buildings, it's nice to like not focus on, real dramatic. You want like nice. You don't need to highlight every single thing. You can focus on like colors and just a bunch of hidden elements to create a more realistic effect. Vallejo Panzer Gray is a good color and it'd be a good start if you have it. Let's get a little more paint. Let's get rid of all of it. This brush might be too darn big. Or just right. It's really huge. So my focus will be just getting a bunch of light colors, and I'm going to use glazes and washes to start adding depth and variation to the gray. Build up weathering and contrast. And you can add a touch of water to a dry brush, and that softens the paint out. When are you going to see me run these on? Well, I have to get them painted first, release. It's like I always told my kid, how do we do stuff? One step at a time. They'll be ready when they're ready. I don't mind a little streaking on these big projects. So like you can let the kind of dry brush kind of streak. It kind of creates like wear and tear and weather. So automatically it just gives it a little more pop. The camera guy. No, who's the camera guy? Sure, it's a guy. Currently in control of the stream is Summer. Summer is our marketing. What's your title?
Marketing coordinator.
Marketing coordinator. Tony brought me the cardboard. Tony, I don't know what he's doing in there. I think he's reading a book or something. This brush is too big. Too unwieldy. Switching to this one. I don't know if Tony will ever play a game on stream. Tony's a man behind the camera kind of personality. I'm not saying he can't be if he wanted to. There we go. I mean, Tony is my assistant, so he does wrangle me to some extent. A little more white. We just had a Legion tweet earlier, didn't we? Did we have a Legion tweet earlier? I'm already out of white paint. A little more rainy gray. There's plenty of Legion coming. There's a lot of Legion coming. Saw some Ewoks. Shadow Collective is just on the horizon. So barely building up color here. How would I approach the freehand symbol? Ooh, Tony brought me more white. Tony, how do you approach the freehands to do the imperial symbol? For something like this, I think my first step would be I would actually cut out like a template out of some plastic card, like print it out or on paper and make like a template and get the general shape and then break it down into smaller, more manageable lines. And with all freehand, I paint the freehand on first very lightly with a color very akin to the base color. That way, if I mess up the line, you can't see it. And then I build it up after I get it. I mean, Ewoks is what I'm allowed to talk about. I mean, not talk about, but I can mention it. Can't mention the other stuff. Soften that edge. Nice highlight along there. Slowly building it up. We're just going real fast. Maybe when we get to the point we can maybe freehand some imperial symbols on this. The trick is freehanding imperial symbols on X-wings. I'm still practicing that. I did the freehand the rebel symbol on the Luke Skywalker in the flight suit. That was fun. Really made that miniature come to life. Is BK in the chat? Maybe BK can give you a quick estimate on when to expect more information about battle forces. A little more white. You got all those edges pop. There's lots of ways to make templates for freehand. Don't be afraid to experiment and try it out. Different ways. I think we're about done with the boring part. Nice circular pattern. You can probably barely see that building up. Shouldn't be rushing it. You want a nice smooth transition, you just take your time and let that paint slowly build up. Ooh. I think we should do some glowy lenses on these too. What do you think, chat? What color should my glowy lenses be? No, speculation is not misinformation. That's just speculation. You gotta tune in. You gotta tune into Atomic Mass on Twitter and Instagram for the real infos when it's available. Green, green, red, bright green, green, red, grow red. What color will the bases be? I'm going to probably gravel them up. Kind of like our studio painted stuff. Where'd my gray go? Oh. So I'll probably gravel them up and make them very akin to the studio bases. Throw some rocks and some grass tufts on the base. When I first started painting miniatures, I don't want to say how long ago, but it was long ago. In a galaxy not so far away, because it was this galaxy. There was an old adage taught to me, faces and bases. Make a good face, make a good base on your miniature. You got great foundation for the tabletop. So I'm a sucker for a well-decorated base, and just adds to the story and that you're trying to tell with your battle force, your army. Just going over it one last time. Oh, maybe an ATST recovered by Jawas. That'd be a great conversion. Make it that sandstone color. Carve that hatch open and have a Jawa in it. Sculpt a little Jawa. I could sculpt a Jawa with some putty. He's just wearing a big hoodie. Circular motion, blend it out. Make sure those little ankles pop. Two Jawas in a trench coat. All right, let's clean up that brush. So get a couple other brushes. Let's move some stuff around. Let's start building some colors into these. We can use a big brush, real big brush. So I want to just pick some interesting colors. I want some maybe blues, greens, browns. And we're not going to be super precise. Put some medium in here. Thin that out. Let's get a little touch of green and brown together. And that first pass, just kind of see where that lays. Need a little more water. Thin that out. Okay, let's do this green brown down around the feet. We're using 2 brushes. One brush to apply a very wet paint. One damp brush to sort of smooth and blend it out. I don't want it to be perfectly blended. I want it to be kind of rough and tumble. Because I want to feel like this ATST is worn and old. This is just going in all the crevices. Do some splotching up on some panels. This just adds a lot of depth and visual interest to the miniature. You could just thin this down and do like a very controlled wash as well. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is a very controlled wash. I'm using that second brush to control it. See, that's already giving some, can you see that? Orange, what are we saying orange? What's orange? I feel like I missed something. Did I miss a joke? I hate it when I miss a joke. We're going to do a couple different colors. We're going to do the green, maybe a little blue. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. You actually want some imperfections. It makes it look more realistic, you know. The universe is kind of messy, rough and tumble place, so you can add to that. Draw a little line. Water, medium, brown, green. Just start in those dark areas. And we'll go over this with a black wash. Oh, around those little raised elements. A little door. Can always like put a little spotch, then use a damp brush to kind of pull some up. And you get that little milk ring that people talk about, or bathtub ring that people talk about that they don't want. And it actually adds to a lot of that visual interest and depth. That little imperfect circle that we normally fight against as a painter can actually come in handy sometimes as a tool to add that life and personality to the paint job. If you apply it properly. Not property, it's a weird word to use. Let's kick up. Where's mixing and mashing? on this side. And also, if we can get to it, we'll do some little nicks and chips to the paint job. Let's pull that down. Just a little color here and there. And then as you go, later on, what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll add even darker, just pure brown. Maybe some little lines. You can also make like water drips. So paint them on and then use a damp brush to kind of make it streak. Don't let it go too far. Looks weird. ATS radar with the left and the VMAS. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Tears of the Empire. This ATST weeps for the. Let's put a bunch up here. Just kind of let all that brown get in all the crevices. Yeah, it'd be fun to do like some cool paint designs on these. I mean, this just lends itself to some interesting designs. A little dark there. Like I said, I'm not being precise, just letting it happen. Push that up into that. So you got that little ridge shape. You can paint on and then use that second brush. You can push it up against that sculpted raised element. And it defines that line really, really good. We're talking about all these tiers, and so I'm like, I feel like this ATSC is about to give a monologue on a rooftop with a dove or something. I hear Tony laughing. Thanks, Tony.
That was summer.
Oh, I got a summer laugh. I feel so spoiled. Don't worry, Summer. We create online personalities for everybody on stream. I'm curious to see where yours shakes out. Are you going to be the cruel taskmaster or the... What will your stream personality end up being? Everybody know Josh's stream personality. That's what I can't wait for. I can't wait to get back in studio for game streams because I'm ready to play against Josh. Whoa. That doesn't happen very often, me dropping my brush. That is... Oh, see? Yeah. Jesse Who gets it. That's amazing. So I'm using that green brown to go down into that shape around the ATST. I love the look of this already, right? And we've barely done any work. And for those of you watching on a regular, I'm probably not going to finish both today on stream. I'm fast. I'm not that fast. Just let it be imperfect. Just let it be fun and loose. You're just adding color. Just creating visual interest across the miniature. Like philosophically, I'm just kind of placing it up against the elements. The raised elements, the lines, the crevices, the creases, the crinkles. And then sort of blending out toward the larger flat areas. And then of course you want to focus around knuckles and joints, because that creates a nice break. Did AMG get to watch any of the streams from LVO? Yeah. I think several of us from the studio watched some streams. People from different departments checked out some LVO streams. I watched the little X-Wing and a little... So that was really cool. Checking out, see what's going on. It's always fun to go to conventions and hang out with community. You know, we're all kind of one big gamer family, and getting to get out and play games is kind of what, you know, it's all about. Even if you just play with your two close friends or your kids or your partner, you know, playing games and having fun, telling stories. It's an important part of hobby and the AMG sort of notion and goal and what we stand for. The water, heavy wash up under there. All right, now it's gonna be weird. I'm gonna put some blue in this. I gotta find the right blue. Riven Gray has blue in it. Arene Blue, no. Cinnamon Bun Blue, that's a weird name. That's not his actual name. Let's do deep blue and we can desaturate it. Well, what's coming out when it comes out? Updates? Updates happen when the updates are ready. That's about all I got. We're going to desaturate the heck out of this blue. Put a little brown in that blue. Touch of green, why not? It's a lovely color. Whole ton of medium. We're going to focus this right over top. We don't have to do a whole bunch of this, but I just want a little bit of color. Added. Just here and there. Like I said, we're just trying to add visual interest and depth. No, not 2023. Yeah, and that little blue-green, that's just going to add a lot of more of that interest. Like I said, I don't need to do a lot of this. It's just nice to add some more visual depth. I'm going fast as I can. If you push that right up against that plate, divides that plate real nice. Put some on the back side of this circular shape. A little bit of green kind of makes it feel foresty, so I feel like this ATST is definitely trying to blockade off of Forest Moon. Kind of put it into some rebellion. Throw some on that leg. On the foots. I think that should get a dark wash. We'll do a dark wash on a lot of elements here in a little bit. Blasters and some of the more moving bits tend to be a little bit darker in Star Wars, so we'll mix up a black with some color in it for some of those elements. Bring that green blue around. All right. Let's start throwing some weathering on this. Making a mess in here, that's what I do. I make a mess everywhere I go, all over my painting table, yeah. Let's do some black paint. Touch of brown paint. Mix that together. I got some sponge. This is like some really firm sponge. This comes out of like miniature case pluck foams. Let's do some chips. Need like a nice angle corner here. Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying the show. It's been fun for me. It's got a Rancor in it. I don't know if anybody knows this yet. I love Rancors. Okay, that shape's not working. So I'm going to turn it around. Pinch that foam a little different. You can do like a little poke and drag, and you can get like some little scritches. I kind of just think about like, if this thing was walking through a forest, where would the damage be? right? So on vehicles and walkers such as ATSTs and stuff, the damage tends to build up at the bottom because that's where a lot of things are, right? Your underbrush and who knows what else. Maybe he kicked a barricade or something. And the further up and high it goes, you get less. And damage tends to collect on the front of vehicles. So you kind of want to focus your efforts with that in mind. Little scratches and dings and dents and pits and my noggin gets in the way. Yell at me, Summer. Summer will yell at me too. Not quite like Tony does. I don't want to do too much back here, but I do want to add some visual interest. Especially if something's moving. So like these parts that are grinding together. Oh, Ewoks definitely do major damage to cabins of ATSTs. Absolutely. Maybe it did kick an Ewok. They're hard to see when you're up in this tall cabin. Would that be a yeet walk? Okay, I'm going to go a little darker, or let's add some more weathering. Do a very orangey brown. Nice quick lines here and there, especially around where bolts are. Anything where water's going to build up and run. And that orange rusty brown, because we put that little bit of blue in there, your eye's going to pick that up ever so subtle. And it's just going to create that visual interest we want. Help add to it. You can also use this to kind of shift areas. This sucker's been through heck and back. Is that for corrosion? Yeah, I'm imagining like just a little corrosion, weather, you know, forest moon. It's probably raining a bit. Just gunk building up. Plus, like I said, with it being orange, it's going to complement that blue we hid in the shadows. This is going to read and create so much more visual interest. And if you want, you can run a damp brush and get those little streak lines. Just adds all to that visual information that your eye's picking up. Yeah, grime builds up super, super fast. I just want to keep doing this all over the hull and body. Some little drips here. Around those hinges. And you can just see how much more interesting that looks. Yeah, they're too busy to keep maintenance up. Especially when you're stationed somewhere like, you know, way out in the middle of nowhere in the galaxy. No one's going to come out here and inspect this, right? That'd be my thinking. Like, no one's going to come inspect us out here. We're in the Outer Rim. Next thing you know, Vader's showing up. You haven't taken over that town yet. You're too busy out just riding dewbacks. I'd be a terrible Imperial officer. I'd be like, get the dewbacks. See here, you have logged 500 hours in dewback riding. Yeah, we're training. These are training maneuvers, Sir Lord Vader. What about that ATST? Have a dewback? Sir Lord Vader. Just me, Tag, and Bink hanging out riding dewbacks. You can do the same thing. You can just kind of mash a little spot. Do like a crummy little blend. Are you giving me hand signals? I mean, it's looking pretty good for an hour. I'm gonna be real honest. I think so. Chat, what do you think? I think we're close. I think we just need to do some dark washings on areas like these cables and the blasters, and then some other like choice elements to kind of divide them up. It needs to be that darker color, something like that, just to start breaking things up. And then paint the visors and finish it up. We're getting close. Soon I will have 2 ATSTs to put through the paces on the tabletop. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Can we zoom in a little bit? There's a delay. I have no idea if that worked. Waiting for the delay. So much delay. Yeah, there we go. Look at him. He's so dirty. All right. I guess we're done. You can cook it over to this camera now. All right, remember, let's turn that off. There's so much reflection on my noggin. So remember, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and not currently Thursday, but soon we'll be back to Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can check us out here on Twitch for some fun painting and tips, tutorials, tricks. Another T word, I don't remember. I was just making that up. Also, for all the latest news, information, announcements, you can check us out over at Twitter and Instagram. Just follow us at Atomic Mass Games, and you'll know when everything is coming out as soon as we put it on there. So, join us next week. We'll be back on Tuesday for Mr. Wilshick. He'll be painting up something fun. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye.